Yeah, not at all.
Uh,
Good times.
News story here. I guess a judge ruled it unconstitutional to have a male-only draft.
Excellent.
So now it was
Oh,
it
we're
was
gonna
kind
start losing more wars.
of that it like I laugh, but do we want women drafted in the army or
Yeah.
They're
military?
not
I
gonna.
should
They're
say.
not gonna do a draft. If this shit doesn't matter.
Well, okay, they're
There-
not going to do a draft. I'm with you there. I'm in the hypothetical. Though.
over a long enough period of time, the odds of there being a draft go to 100%. You realize that, right?
Well, not if our entire country dissolves in the boiling oceans first.
Wouldn't they draft before they did
They're
that?
gonna draft people to make fucking sandbags or something. at that
You're
point,
right.
buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that they wouldn't put them into combat positions that they weren't either qualified for or allowed into.
Well, that's
I
not
don't-
very PC of you.
Well, I think it's more about what the military decides to do, not really my decision. But I think it's a good thing. I think that everybody should have equal rights, equal responsibilities.
I don't feel like the judge. I feel like they should all be internal with the military. Let them make the decision they think is fit. Like, don't let a judge overrule it. Like, they have their own courts there.
What if they
Like,
decide we need
the-
segregated units? That if they decide that
They're not
It's
going to
not-
do that.
Do you
they
mean by
used to
race or
before we-
by
before-
sex?
before- they used to do that before we made them stop.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's a little different. Those are all
Well, you
males.
said the military should be on their own, autonomous and everything. I'm just playing devil's advocate, saying, what if they?
I don't know. We won World War II, didn't we?
was Port Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying there about back in the segregation days. But yeah, I think this should be internal with the military. They know what they're doing more.
Yeah,
If they think it's fine, then go for it.
Yeah, I suppose I'm always for the people who are literally on the ground and do that as a profession, making those decisions. It seems whenever you've got politicians making those, it seems weird to me that the president is the commander in chief.
I like
Right?
it. I disagree.
Here's
But
the-
carry on. Let me listen.
He's a politician.
Right.
His and it used to be that so many of our presidents had military experience, and so it
Mhm.
made sense for so long. George Washington was literally the general who was most influential in winning the Revolutionary War, and that tradition continued more or less for a long period of time. We had a lot of military background presidents, and some of the better ones actually. From Eisenhower to Teddy Roosevelt. They all had extensive military experience. Donald Trump went to military school. That's like the punchline of a bad joke. That's not the same thing.
Mhm.
And I just don't know if he should be the guy. On the other hand, if he's going to be the guy out there, negotiating a lot of deals with other countries, it's good if he's got the stick to go with the carrot.
I like a civilian commander in chief because I feel like he brings less inclination to go to war and a certain further back a holistic perspective to the decisions that have to be made. If he viewed it through the lens of a warrior, then I think he might find war to be a viable option more often.
I think it would be the opposite. I think that they were talking about some of the soldiers who were mobilizing just the other day for this 3,500 that they called up to go to the Middle East or whatever it was,
Mhm.
and how the older soldiers, the ones who were veterans, were like pretty somber. But then they quoted some of the young guys, and they're literally like, "Going to war, dude!" And it's like, I don't want a going to war dude president. I want more of a if we must kind of president. I feel like if you've been to war, there was a good Eisenhower quote that was on the internet the other day about what he said about war, and I don't have it, and but I feel like a guy who's been to war, and especially like a guy who's been in command or something like that,
Might
he's
have
less apt
a
to go to
somber,
war.
experienced look at it. Yeah,
That's a terrible thing.
that it is. And I've never been to war. I don't pretend to have been. But
No.
yeah, that's a good point. I think it's a good counterpoint. But I look at like a Schwarzkopf, for example. He was very enthusiastic about it. I forget the guy's name. They did a Netflix special on him. He took over Afghanistan for a while. He was very enthusiastic about it. There are definitely leaders who have been through war in the military who think war is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So I get maybe it's just up to the man.
Yeah, I think it's individual. And look, so far Donald Trump hasn't done anything horrific that involves the military. You know, like people point to this I've been calling the guy Salami as a joke this whole time, and now it's actually stuck in my head. It's like when you make a silly face for too long.
It ends with Nami.
Solanami. You know, and I don't like it when either side goes, oh, but what about this? Like whenever they posted the pictures of Clinton with Epstein's madam, you know, and then they're quickly, everybody's quick to like be like, oh, here's Trump with Epstein. It's like, two wrongs don't make a right. They're both with the pedophile guy, right?
Yeah, they're both hanging out on Rape Island over there.
Yeah, what's going on here? And so like I don't like when people are like, oh, but Obama killed this many and did this much, unless you're trying to point out the bias of the media or how or the hypocrisy of the media. Then it's relevant. But if you're trying to compare the right and wrong of drone strikes or civilian collateral damage, then it's not applicable because it's either wrong or it's right. You know, it's you can't do that. What a downer.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just trying to get some pussy while serving overseas. We finally going to draft some girls.
College, man. Yeah.